Welcome back, humor consumers, to the Life Happens, Laugh Anyway podcast. I'm comedian Tracy DeGraff.
And I'm Catherine Shipman.
My bestie.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome back to the Pod Lab, Kat.
Yeah, I'm glad to be back.
Catherine was on vacation. We live in Illinois, but she was on vacation in Florida.
Yeah, it was nice.
With the whole fam, except for one.
Except for Emily, who's down in Florida, but she's at Walt Disney World.
Yeah, these are the days, right?
Mm-hmm. Working there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So exciting.
Yeah.
Her daughter got into the prestigious Disney college program.
Yeah.
And the COVID put a halt to that for 2020.
Originally, yeah.
But now we hit the reset button, so praise the Lord.
Yeah, we were really glad that they accepted her a second time.
Yeah.
She got lucky.
So shout out to Emily.
Woo! Hope she's listening.
She's at the, what do they call it? The Mouse Gears or?
Mouse Gear, yeah.
Mouse Gear
at
shop.
Epcot.
It's like a retail shop.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mouse Gear.
And everything is in like stage lingo. So show lingo.
Right, you're a guest. And
yeah, that's kind of common though, like at hotels and things like that. But backstage, I think, is probably like their storage room, something like that.
Well,
we got off track.
That's Disney, though, and that's awesome.
They make it fun.
I love Disney.
They make it fun.
I know.
It's funny because Emily said that she's like, no, I'm not going to get into the Mickey ears. Oh, she's into them.
She's drinking the Kool-Aid and wearing the ears.
She's wearing the ears and the whole thing.
Okay, well, we digress, but let's jump back to our topic for the day, Catherine.
Yeah.
What are we talking about today?
We're talking about, is it too late to go back to school or change your career path or
make
whatever it might be?
Yeah,
big changes.
Yeah, so specifically, we're just talking about people who maybe they had a goal to do these things early on in life, and then life kind of got in the way, and maybe now you're 50 or 55 or whatever.
Yeah. Your mom was changing
She was.
her career, wasn't she?
Yeah.
At 50?
Well,
or was
she actually started prior to her cancer diagnosis. My mother was pretty young when she got cancer. She was 47 when she was diagnosed with cancer. And she had decided, I think it was a year or 2 years before that, so mid-40s, to make a complete change. She was in the medical field. She was a radiology technician, and she did, scans and stuff on patients her whole career. And then she decided she wanted to become a graphic artist.
That's right.
So we were both in college at the same time for a couple years. And then, of course, when her cancer was diagnosed, she had to shift again.
Yeah.
And she couldn't pursue that. And then she passed away when she was only 51. So she was a young person to go through all of that. But when she did make that shift, now that I'm older than she was at that stage, I can understand that. You're in a different season of life.
Yeah.
Your kids are in a different season of their life. They may not be fully grown, fully baked, as we say.
Yeah.
But they're in a different season. So we have a couple takeaways for our listeners today. And we always try to do this. We have our little handy-dandy outline.
Yeah.
We have something to keep us on track. First,
we kind of need that.
We do. We need a squirrel chaser. Point number one, takeaway number one, should you make a career change? Should you even do it? That's number one. Don't get in front of that until you figure that one out.
Yeah.
And number two, do you need money to go back to school? Because we're going to share 7 ways you can afford what you need. It's an article that we found on that. And then number 3, going back to college as an adult, what you need to know. So we're going to cover those things. And we have sponsors for this episode. Catherine, who are our sponsors?
Muffin and Pooh.
Yeah.
Which are Ron and Kenny.
Our hubbies.
That's right.
Thank you to them.
Yeah. They're so good to us.
They are. We're good to them too, though. Just saying.
True.
Really good. They're not going to do any better. Tell them, yeah, because this is as good as it gets. All right. Well, let's jump in here then, Kat.
Yeah.
Should you even make a career change after, some years, if you've gone to college or you've started out in a certain career and now you're just going, I don't know if that's what I want to do. So how do you figure that one out?
Well, that is the big question.
It is.
And I looked, in preparing for this podcast, this episode, there were quite a few websites that indicated that it's a quandary for some people. And I think at the end of the day, meh. Tracy's having me move my arm.
You keep on making noise. It makes noise into the thingy.
Okay.
Sorry. Don't you hear it?
No.
Oh, okay. Just me. Okay. Go ahead.
What was I?
About
it's just it comes down, I think, to a personal choice.
Yeah.
Because some, circumstances are different for different people.
Yeah.
And there's different reasons why one might go back to school or change, make a change in their career.
Yeah.
They could be burnt out in the career that they're in. It could be that one's, career was put on hold or school was put on hold because of family life.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's, and one of the articles that I read or websites that I read that I was able to really relate to was that school was put on hold. Like I had been going to school, and then Kenny took a position that was very little pay. So then I had to work 2 jobs, and I was going to school, and one of them had to go. And for me at the time was school, and I thought, oh, okay, I'm gonna go back. Well, then I started having kids, and so
then it all unravels.
Yeah. So for me, I don't think like financially I need to go back. Like I don't think that would be a good decision to go back to school, collect more student loan debt or whatever. But it would be like something that I would feel good about.
Well, you said that you really need to decide. Everybody's circumstances are different. And I think that one thing that could help us and our listeners with any decision is putting things down on paper. Write it down on paper. If you're thinking about making a big career change, why? Why are you thinking of doing that? What? And then if you say, well, I'm thinking of doing it because I want to make more money, then ask yourself again, why? Why do you want to make more money? Well, I want to make more money because I want to go on vacations every year. Why? What? You just keep drilling down until you get to the core of what you really want to do. And then you have to look at all the practical things. Okay, maybe I really want to do this, but is it practical?
Yeah, that's a good question to ask oneself, for sure.
Yeah. And, when I wrote my book, Laugh Anyway, Mom, I had always wanted to write a book from the time I was a young girl, but I really didn't know, I didn't have a clue as to what I would write about. And then I got my degree in journalism, and I thought, I'm going to be a writer, right? And I'm young, and I'm like, I could do it. But I got married and had those kids. In the first 11 years of our marriage, we had 5 children. I couldn't write. I could barely string 2 words together in my own head, thinking to myself, let alone get a sentence out. That dream was pushed to the back burner, as you know, of my life for 20 years. That's a long time to be in a season of that. Because first it was having the kids, then it was raising the kids. And it's been now 12 years ago that I actually then sat down to write the book.
And boy, you had a lot to say by then.
I did.
You just weren't ready.
I didn't have anything to say.
Yeah.
Before.
So the timing was just the way God wanted it.
Yeah. And see, I think that's something really cool for those of us. Like, personally, I love being 55. I mean, I love it. I love being this age, and I hope that I continue to love whatever age I'm in. I know the aches and pains kind of take a toll, but Lord help me. But I feel like one of the benefits of being on the planet longer is that you know more stuff. You've learned more things. And so maybe it is a good thing to make a change, but maybe it isn't. So you have to kind of make it your project, I think, of really drilling down to why do you want to make this change?
Yeah.
And if you really want to do it, my mom used to say, in fact, I wrote this at the inside of my book, time waits for no one.
Yeah.
Because that was her she used to say it when she was waking us up in the morning. We were all teenagers, the three of us kids.
Yeah.
And she was trying to get us out of bed. You know?
Right.
And she said it in that high, shrilly mom voice, you know. But I've toned that down. I've tried to forget that tone. But the sentiment is so true.
Yeah.
Time isn't going to wait. So if you're 40 and you always wanted to blah, 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 whatever it is, maybe now's the time. All right. So let's share what's the website where we can get more information on that, on should you make a career change?
Oh, that is, was it careerscrossroads.com. Let me go back to...
It's actually
crossroadscareer.org.
Right.
There we go.
Right. You had one part right, the career part.
Oh, yeah. You know, it's been a while, like 10 minutes. So
tell me again and tell our listeners what this website offers to people who go to it.
Well, first of all, it's a nonprofit organization. It's faith-based, and it helps people to hear God's calling, maximize their potential, and get the right job for them, for you.
So they do, like, they have some tests on there and stuff where you can, like, go in and you answer, like, questions about your interests and such, right?
Yeah, there's a workbook. And perhaps now, I mean, I picked up the workbook a long time ago, but now perhaps it's just online or, you know, it could be done that way. But they have a 7-step process to help you figure out, you know, to look upward, inward, and outward. And the 7-step process will help you through scripture and through this process in the workbook to get to where God wants you to be. So whether you're in a job that you currently love, but you just feel like there's something more, it might be for you. If you're in a job that you hate, definitely that's telling you something. So it's really for anybody who's thinking about that. And like I said, it's faith-based, and it helps people find and follow Jesus Christ through their career. So one could network, even if you didn't do the workshops or the workbook, you can network. It's all over the entire country. There's a lot of companies that are plugged into this program, this organization. And they just have all kinds of resources and content. And like I said, throughout the country, there's different places where you can go where people can gather. You can pray for one another.
Yeah, that's cool.
And then employers, they look for people through this program. So,
and they have on their website here that they're doing a national conference on October 23rd in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm assuming that's this October 23rd of 2021. So check it out, crossroadscareer.org. If you're thinking, I'm thinking. It's going to bring, the word that came up for me when I just looked at this website was clarity.
Yeah.
It's going to bring clarity. Maybe affirmation that you're in the right role. You're doing the right thing. Just keep doing it and do it for the Lord and do it with purpose. Right? Then you find joy. Then who cares about all the other stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is really cool. They have quite a website here. And they also have a little portal where you can donate to their cause.
Yeah.
If you feel the need to do that. They've got to meet the team. They've got a board of directors.
Oh, yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah, well, that's a really good resource for anybody who's in that frame of mind that they're thinking about making a change.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, when I think back, sorry to go back to me again. Enough about you. It's time to talk about me. But when I think back about the process that got me to even doing comedy, it was not, it was a gradual process, that led me to, okay, I always wanted to write the book. So I figured out, what I wanted to write. That was a process in and of itself.
Yeah.
And then the next process was how to get it out of my head and into book form.
Mm-hmm.
And then a publishing coach recommended that I do stand-up because he read the manuscript and said it's really funny. So if you could put that on stage, that would be a great combo.
Mm-hmm.
I had never even thought of that.
Yeah.
Never in a million years would I have thought, oh, I'm going to go do stand-up comedy. No.
I think it's amazing that this person tells you this. One person.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay. One person told you.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, that's wild.
But I did hire them, this coaching firm or whatever.
I know.
I hired them to give me their expert opinion and advice.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they said that, I was like, oh, really? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I did say okay, but I did it in spite of being a little bit like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do now?
Yeah.
And then I picked up the phone and called the Second City in Chicago, and I signed up for a class.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, Tracy, you really.
I couldn't believe I did it.
Uh-huh.
And then even driving to Chicago, you know how much I hate to drive to Chicago?
Yeah.
I hate it.
Yeah, I know.
And you know how bad I am at it? Very bad.
Yeah.
I get the finger every single time. And I just did it. The classes were on Sundays after church. And remember, we go to the same church. So I would go right from the high school because at that time our church was meeting in a local high school. Dressed cute, like a mid-40 woman.
Churchy.
Like a church lady.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I remember my very first class, I had on boots and a purple like suede skirt with a matching blazer, like corduroy or something.
Oh my gosh,
crazy.
I remember when you used to wear those.
And I had my hair in a certain way, like all Karen-ish, I guess. And I'm at the Second City in Chicago.
With a bunch of...
I could have given birth to all these people.
Yeah.
And they've all got T-shirts and jeans on, and they look like they hadn't been to church that day. Yeah.
Very brave.
Yeah, and here we are 12 years later doing a podcast. So,
well, and your next step in that whole process was then what do you do? How do you get your book out there, right?
yeah.
And then you had to do that.
It's a lot. It's a lot of steps and a lot of processes, however you say it.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'm getting at, the whole reason why I went back to tell that story is that along the journey, you figure it out. So just take one step at a time.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always believed that if you're supposed to be turned around, God is going to turn you around.
Yeah.
He just is. And you've said this to me so many times. It's not rejection, it's protection.
Right.
So
I fully believe that.
yeah. And we don't know what we don't know. So we can sit here and stew about, well, I wish I woulda, coulda, shoulda. But if you had done that then, maybe you wouldn't have these blessings that you can't live without now, like AKA children.
Right. Right.
Rotten kids. So just stay encouraged, friends who are listening to us. There are some listeners out there.
Yeah.
Stay encouraged.
We've got proof.
That's
graphs and all
That's
that.
True. Okay. So crossroadscareer.org.
Yeah.
It's a plethora of information. So just do a deep dive in there and get to the bottom of your why. All right. Our second takeaway from today's episode. If you need money to go back to school, you've got a little article over there, 7 ways.
7 ways you
to
can
get some money.
To go back to school. So you just have to know where to look, right?
Yeah.
And but have no fear. Financial assistance is available. And so one of the first step, or one of the first things you can do, is fill out the free application for the FAFSA, the free application for federal financial aid. And you can find out about grants, federal student loans, and work-study jobs. I wrote something on here too. It'll be different for adults because you're using your income, not your parents'.
Yeah.
And you're also reporting your own assets, and your credit score won't affect your ability to qualify. So that's good. The second piece of source that you can use is take advantage of tax breaks. So investigate the annual $2,500 American Opportunity Tax Credit or the $2,000 Lifetime Learning Tax Credit. So, and if you're not eligible for a tax credit, check out government tuition and fees deductions for up to $4,000 in student expenses.
Well, and those things are always shifting and changing. So there could be a lot of things out there. You just have to dig.
Yeah. And this article is current. And then, just like Tracy just said, you dig, but these sites will lead you to the most current, situation. So you could visit the IRS Tax Benefit for Education Information Center, and we'll
IRS.
Yeah. And we're going to put the link on here because there's a phone number, and there's a copy of an IRS publication that you can look into, but it's helpful. So do look at the show notes for that.
Yeah.
You could also open a 529 college savings plan.
For yourself?
For yourself.
I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm. I guess you would kind of have to know at least a few years before you go ahead and use it. But it does say college savings plans allow you to save for college tax-free and are available in every state. So you can learn more at savingforcollege.com. And in many states, you can even deduct part or all of your contribution on your state tax return. So again, this is for older people. Mm-hmm. So I guess it's worth looking into.
Well, I mean, for sure.
When I think of this plan, though, I think, what if you just want to go now? Yeah. So it won't work if you haven't done that. And then look for non-traditional scholarships. So a number of national and local scholarships are specific to non-traditional students,
right?
Like people who are
older.
That's what they mean by non-traditional.
Yeah, that's what they call.
I like how they make that PC. They're not saying for older people.
And it's true that local philanthropic organizations do sometimes have scholarships, and they might be $500. I know of one local here that is specifically for women who are either going to school for the first time or returning to school. So meaning women older as well, or new students.
Yeah.
And they do have an application process. And if you get a string of these together, 3 or 4, of them, and you really have a compelling story of why you're going back and, you're working hard and whatever the qualifications are for the scholarship, you very well may get some, some assistance.
Right. It's worth trying.
It certainly is.
Mm-hmm. So it says try fastweb.com and scholarships.com to look into those non-traditional scholarships and grants. Call your financial aid office. The college or university that you might plan on attending might offer financial aid options, tuition waivers, or discounts for students 50 and older.
Yay.
Yes.
Get the senior citizen discount.
Yeah. And if you aren't concerned with getting a degree, try a community college or a local 4-year college. Many allow older students to audit courses for free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was telling you about that job I found for you after I learned about your note taking at the rock concert in the 80s. If you haven't listened to that episode, please listen to it. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
Catherine was at a rock concert and took notes because she didn't want to miss anything.
There are some things I'll never live down.
That's one of them.
That's one of them.
Well,
I'll say the other one.
No, please don't. You can become a professional note taker for students with disabilities. Need someone to go and take notes for them in their class. And so there are jobs like that out there. So if you're interested.
Who knew?
I know. This country is amazing.
Yes. Yeah. Pretty cool. Let's see. Take a free or low-cost course online. So going online, even before the pandemic, has been just it gives people opportunities that they didn't have before. Yeah. People who are, I don't know, in the throes of their career or family life or both or whatever. Yeah. And online courses are definitely a nice thing to look into. So, and it says here, massively open online courses offer thousands of certificate and no certificate courses by the best universities around the world. They are free or cheap they are a free or cheap way to learn from their instructors anytime and anywhere. It also says to learn more, visit MOOC, M like Mary, OOC-list.com. Well, again, we're going to put the link there. So, and then take an in-person college course. So the lifelong learning institutes, they're usually affiliated with colleges, and they have all kinds of programs that you could get plugged into, and they're free.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, and this wasn't on here, but another good way to figure out how you can pay for further education is your employer might have a program. Some employers do.
Yeah.
And they'll do tuition reimbursement, scholarships, or repayment assistance.
Yeah, a couple of my kids are doing that right now, working for organizations that they're working their way through college. My son, Joel, who is 25, soon to be 26. He's already 25. I lose track. I think he's already 25. He's soon to be 26.
Well, I thought...
Wait, no,
Patrick's
he's 24.
Older. Yeah.
Okay, sorry, right. Joel, if you're listening. Don't listen, Joel. I do love you. He's going to be 25.
Yeah.
He's working, and he's going to work his way through school. Same thing with our youngest, who just moved out over the weekend. Caleb.
Yeah.
He's 20.
Yep. Yes, that is correct.
And he is also working full time and working his way through school. So as a older adult or non-traditional student, you could do that as well. So why not look for organizations or companies that do tuition reimbursement, and then work and go to school?
Yeah.
Hey, sounds good.
Sounds
Anything
very good.
else over there?
No. Nope.
All right. Well, let's move on to the third point, which is the article that we found on this little website called Market Research. And the article
Market Watch.
Okay, right. Market Watch. It's called Going Back to College as an Adult. Here's what you need to know. One of the interesting stats that I thought was right out of the gate, 40% of students who enter college don't finish.
Yeah.
They don't finish.
It's a big number.
It's a very big number.
I was surprised to hear that it's 40%.
Yeah. Well, this was a particular study, so maybe it has changed, but either way, there's a lot of people out there who started and then for whatever reason just didn't get around to finishing. So, okay, another little tidbit from this article, they highlight one person's case where she ended up finally getting her degree. It's recommending that you choose a school that suits your needs because, when we think about our life as a person, right, we're not the same people that we were when we were 18.
Oh,
we're not. And so, when you're 18 and getting out of high school, you might want a different school for a different reason, right? Like, woohoo, party on. Girls just want to have fun. But when you're 50 and you just want to get your nursing degree, that's a whole different story.
Yeah.
So choose a school that suits your needs, and also in terms of like the time frame of when they offer classes and things like that. It also gives a tip of prepare before you go. Like pull together all your transcripts. You're going to need those things, from any college credits that you have had in the past. And there was in this article, this woman who went back to school. Her particular college offered a reimbursement or a loan forgiveness of $1,500 of her student loan debt. So check with your university. If you went freshman year to a certain university, maybe they will give you credit for something if you go back.
Yeah. I just want to say something that I'm thinking about. I would be very careful, though, because some of these universities, they market directly to people who are in that position where they're older or whatever. They need to go back to school, and they are a for-profit school. Some of them are, and they can just really rack up the prices and change every...
Do your research.
Yeah, definitely.
I think, when they say that they're for-profit or not-for-profit, I feel like all these universities make money.
True,
they make
but
money
the state
somewhere.
ones, can't change the price
makes money.
Yeah, they do, but
Okay, then they have a whole section here on navigating the money piece, which Catherine just went over, and so definitely read that. Determine how quickly you'll be able to progress through school. I think that's also very important to think through, okay, here I am at 55. If I decide all of a sudden, forget comedy, I just want to be a doctor. I've always wanted to be a surgeon. It's not too late. I can figure it out. I know how to bake. Right? I should probably stay in my lane.
Yeah.
But realistically, figure out how much time is it going to take you to get this degree? And then, what's the pathway to career? What's the time frame going to look like? Then another tip is to have a support system at home. I have found, and I'm sure that this is true for many, without support from your homeboys, in my case, all boys, without that support, it's really hard to navigate something as big as this. Like going back to school, everybody kind of needs to be on the same page of, okay, now it's mom's turn.
Yeah.
Mom's going to go back to school, so that's going to mean she's not going to be doing your laundry. She's not going to be making all your meals. She's not going to be packing your lunch, whatever. Have an honest communication with your roommates.
That would certainly be helpful if they cooperated.
Well, yeah. I think sometimes we just need to have an honest conversation with people. That's our loved ones, and hopefully they would support that. Okay. Yeah. Another tip is to have a support system at school. When all these schools have people that they pay, money, they give them a salary to be your counselor and to help you navigate the whole process. They have job placement people and stuff like that. That's the end of that article. And
that is.
It's pretty thorough. So jump back in there. We'll put that in the show notes too.
Yeah.
Speaking of the show notes, I just want to, before we get to our closing inspiration, I want to share a little tidbit about the show notes. So every week now we have this set up where the show notes are going to be emailed to everyone that's on my email list, tracydegraff.com email list. So if you want to be emailed the show notes weekly, go to tracydegraff.com and sign up for my email.
Yeah, please do that.
Yeah, because
very helpful.
Yeah, because the show notes are going to give you a nice overview of these resources. Like I kind of consider us like curators, Catherine.
Oh,
like we curate information from the web. We save you time and we entertain.
Do. Yeah,
and we give you these little nuggets.
Yeah, all for free.
Yeah. So go to tracydegraff.com, sign up for my emails. And you're also going to get a free ebook when you do that, because automatically when you sign up for my emails, you get my ebook that I wrote called Open Your Bible Anyway.
Awesome.
And it shows you step by step how to sit down and carve out time to have a little bit of Bible reading time every day.
Awesome.
Yeah, and it's got pictures of my little chair that's out in the living room there.
Yeah.
I have my little quiet time. And
so they get a little gift.
Yes.
Inspiration.
Yes, a gift that keeps on giving, because it's, the word of the Lord. All right, well, let's go to our inspirational closing from Psalm 32, verse 8. And it says this. It says, I will instruct you and teach you in the way you should go. I will counsel you with my loving eye on you.
There you go.
Isn't that a beautiful verse?
Yes.
Yeah.
Best way to get instruction.
It is.
First way.
It is. And God He cares about every single thing. One of our friends from our church, she needed me to give her a ride to the doctor today because, poor thing, she fell down and she broke a bone in her right foot, and she also broke her left toe.
Yeah. Ugh.
So she's in a boot and a boot.
Poor
oh my gosh.
Poor Carrie.
Anyway, she was asking me for prayer. She said she needed prayer, and I'm thinking about her feet, and all that. And she says, no, her dog was, her dog has a problem too.
Oh no. And
then she said something about, is it okay to pray for dogs? And I said, yes. I said, God cares about every single
detail.
thing.
That's right.
That's right.
Nothing too small, nothing too big.
No. Nothing surprises him. Nothing overwhelms him. He never takes a nap. He doesn't need a day off or a vacation. He's just there with his eye
And he just wants
on you.
you to be there.
Yeah,
So that's why nothing's too small.
that's right. Well, this has been interesting and fun to talk about changes in careers and such. So, you know, get out there, fans and friends and listeners, and
Figure it out.
figure it out. And that's our call to action from today's episode, is to go over and check out that website, the crossroadscareer.org, because we really found that to be pretty good.
It's a good one. Very good organization.
Yeah. Well, thanks for joining us. You've been listening to the Life Happens Laugh Anyway podcast, and I'm still comedian Tracy DeGraff.
I'm still Catherine.
We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.